All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Veteran Central. It's been a rough day. My technology doesn't want to work the way it's supposed to today.
That's
So
good.
we have,
Your name's up there.
let me, we have Hope and Lingo with us today. And I'm going to let them explain what their organization is.
We are with SSVF, Support Services, Veterans and Families. The main part of our job is to house homeless and about to be homeless vets. Our job is to get them off the streets and keep them off the streets. And we do other things to facilitate a new space and living space for them. But the main goal is to get them housed, get a roof over their head.
All right. Fantastic. Now I'm going to start with Lingo first. Am I pronouncing that right? Lingo?
You are, yeah.
All right. Now, first, I got to explain to folks a little bit here. The three of us met at a resource fair at the MAP Center in Canton, Ohio. For those of you who don't know what the MAP Center is, it's a military aircraft museum. And my son was helping me that day. Our table was next to Hope and Lingo's. And Lingo walks in.
Oh, no.
And let me put it to you like this. The guns on this man puts Hulk Hogan to shame.
Oh, I like this guy.
Oh,
I knew I liked you, Tim.
So very quickly, I told my son, who was like, can I go do this? Can I do that? I says, look, if you don't behave, this man standing right behind you is going to squash you.
I think I might have even growled at him, too.
I think you did. But by the end of the day, you two were hitting it off pretty good. So, but that's how the three of us met. But now, how did your organization come about?
So, what I know, about 13 years ago, is when our office opened up. But back in the 80s, the VA had started a program where they realized that trying to house homeless veterans was going to be a little more difficult than just getting them in houses. At the time before that, they were making sure that the veterans were, if they had a substance issue or if they had a drinking issue, that they had to be sober before going into housing. Well, that's not really, in the 80s, they finally came to terms. Well, that's not how we do it. It's housing first. You get them into housing, and then you work with the addiction and recovery issues,
Right.
the stresses of being homeless, on top of what you're already going through mentally or physically, a lot from the military. Well, bad timing, man.
Yeah.
So about 13 years ago, from what I understand, the SSVF, the Support Services for Veteran Families, was opened under the umbrella of Family and Community Services out of Ravenna. And we cover 9 counties. I wasn't there in the beginning, but I'm told that it started off pretty small. And then where it was only a couple employees and just kind of trying to learn the ropes. And then it came into, we have an advocate for all 9 of our counties. We have a person that specifies in employment. We have a person that specifies in education. We have a person that specifies in healthcare, Social Security. We have a whole freaking team now, and it is
Good.
Extensive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's designed to make sure that the veteran is not set up for failure. We are a temporary service. So when we step in, we are able to help for anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So it's designed for people that are able to be independent, that just need a hands up. I always describe it, it's a hands up, not a handout. We bring you in, we work with you for 6 to 9 months. Wow. And it is all encompassing. And then we make sure that we're not setting you up for failure. You find a place with you. We don't just have places to place you. You sign a lease with the landlord. And then after 6 to 9 months or whenever you're independent, we shake hands and good luck, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, how did you guys get involved?
Oh.
So I had retired in 2018 and then found out that I had a lot of time for projects and not much money anymore. So I was looking for another job, and I knew a person that had this position before me, and he recommended that I try out. And I was already working in veteran organizations, anything from American Legions and Honor Guards to suicide prevention with veterans. So I was already pretty well aware of what I thought everything in the community had. I didn't even know that Stark County had a homeless shelter for veterans. I mean, I was so ignorant to the whole thing, and it embarrassed me so much. And I was just, I ended up finding the perfect place for me.
Good. How about you, Hope? How'd you get involved?
Oh, funny story. The big fella here. What happened was I worked at Ford. I worked at a dealership at Ford, and Lingo had one of the F-150s, and he kept coming in with.
Ford's going to come after you.
I know Ford's going to really just hit me on this. He had a truck that had just multiple issues. I called it a neurological disorder because it was all computerized. And I ran the loaner car program. I was the manager there. So every time he called, I was like, what's going on now, Lingo? You know, he came in so much. He was driving my cars more than his own. So we just got to talking, got to be good friends. He told me what he did for a living. And I was like, that is absolutely amazing. My father was a Vietnam vet. He was a Navy river rat and was exposed to Agent Orange and the whole nine. So it was near and dear to my heart. So I just admired what he did. He was also a veteran. So I've always had an affinity and a love for our veterans and admiration. And when he told me what he did for a living, I got sucked in. I was like, how do I get involved with this? So he helped me out, and here I am.
I stole her.
He did. He tells everybody he stole me because they were not happy when I left Ford because I really straightened out the program there. So they weren't thrilled, but he kind of rubs their nose in it a little bit. But
God, yeah.
Right. That'll work.
I walk in there with a target on me, but man, she was such a genuine and empathetic soul, and she was so driven to make sure that everybody was happy that she worked with. I was like, and she has this huge connection with the veterans and drive and desire. And like, you are in the wrong place.
Yeah.
He recruited me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, how does a veteran get in contact with you folks? Is it normally through their family saying, hey, we know one of our family members needs your help, or does the veteran come straight to you? Or
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times our words spread through. I've had veterans tell me I looked you up on the internet trying to find housing. Some people, it's cards. He and I dish out our cards in different places. We do outreach to spread the word, to get our name out there.
Community partners.
Yeah, community partners. We have different organizations we're affiliated with and work with very closely. They know us and will refer us. The VA refers a lot of our veterans because they talk to them when they come into the clinics. And we have a hotline number that they'll call, and Lingo and I are the first point of contact for them, called coordinated entry.
And our third, we cannot forget Debbie. She's like the best.
Our supervisor, Debbie Johnson. Yeah, she's an amazing, straightforward individual, and she's on point. She gets it all done.
Yeah.
So
when you call in, you will talk to one of the three of us.
Yes, we're a trio.
Right.
Mostly he and I, but that's because she's busy doing her supervisor things. But she's always there when we need her, and she's always there to pick up a call when we're slammed or not there. So
God, I hope you're watching, Deb. We really love you.
Yeah. Hey, Ray.
I hope she is too. Need my audience to grow. So when you get that initial contact, is there a screening process that the veteran has to go through?
Yeah. When they call in, we have different documents we have to fill out on their behalf. So we'll go through a scenario of questions for them. So we do have to talk directly to them. Sometimes once in a while we'll get a spouse trying to answer, but we have to talk to the veteran. A lot of it pertains to their service.
Mhm.
So we have to get their personal information and their detailed, anything detailed that we have to ask them, we have to get from them. So it can take anywhere, most of the time, maybe 10 minutes at most, just to go through the questions. The paperwork.
Yeah, she's faster than I am. I take 20 minutes with my guys. I want to get to know you. I want to make sure you know.
Oh,
I got you. She doesn't care.
He's so wrong. He just said I was empathetic and the veterans love me, and then he said,
I gotta keep you guessing.
Whatever.
So there, that screening process does take some time.
Yeah.
But it's just over a phone. There's no necessity to come in person. In fact, there's no availability to do that.
Right.
But we do work. I mean, all of our funding comes directly from the VA.
Mm-hmm.
So we are very upfront. All three of us, I feel, are very upfront with our veterans to give them no false hopes. We have the ability to do these things, but this is all VA funding, VA questions, and we walk them through pretty well what all these questions are, why we're asking them. But yeah, that's right. And they have to go through us to get into. We represent a couple different organizations that house homeless veterans. So in order to get into any of these, the other one is called HUD-VASH, and they are a little longer term. Almost, I think the best way I can describe it to someone that's ignorant like I was to the homeless community and the veterans, it's kind of like a Section 8 for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I tell them. It's the veteran version of Section 8 housing.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they do get weaned down and wean off, but we do help them to supplement their housing for them. And then slowly it becomes more their responsibility.
Now, just to let the audience know, the laughter that you hear, this is how it went at that resource fair. All day long.
Not sorry.
No.
No. We like our veterans too. They may be going through a very serious predicament, but we do have a lot of laughter with our veterans.
Yes.
They have been, a lot of them are very brave to go through what they go through and still have a sense of humor. So it's amazing to talk to some of these people.
Oh yeah, the stories that I can imagine that you two have heard.
Yeah.
Just me being a veteran, I definitely know. So,
Yeah.
Now once a veteran gets screened, how long does it take to get them into housing?
So that depends a lot on the veteran, what he's been through, what things landlords are going to find an issue with on his application. I mean, these veterans are coming, especially when you're homeless. It's a vicious cycle. It's a circle. I mean, you find yourself homeless. You don't have a place to bathe. You don't have a place to go to the bathroom. You decide to step out of your vehicle or wherever you're staying at the time on a park bench and just relieve yourself. And you find out you're 500 feet away from the school zone, and now you have a sexual predator on your record. So, and of course, landlords don't want to see that, especially when you're normally looking for apartments or rentals that have small families around there, young families around there. So we do have, it depends on what the records are, and how hard the veteran works with us too. If he's out there showing us that he wants to make better himself and that he wants this, it's going to go a lot faster. If all the stars align after that veteran is signed in, and that usually takes a couple days to meet with his case manager, go through the paperwork, get approved, finally the finalized approval through the VA. I mean, I've seen it happen within days. But that guy already had an apartment that he was looking at, didn't have the ability to put that deposit down. That's another thing. People can't come into us and ask for help if they've already signed a lease. If they've already signed a lease, then they're basically housed. The VA looks at them as being housed at that place to go. So they come into us before they sign a lease. And if that guy in particular already had an apartment set up, already talked to the landlord, all he really needed was the money and somebody to assure the landlord that he was going to be taken care of, the landlord was going to be taken care of while he got back on his feet. But it was days. Sometimes it takes longer if the veteran is not committed, or if there are issues with his income. That's not really a big one because we cover all rent, we cover all security deposits during the time we're with you. We have the ability to catch you up on back utilities and to pay a little bit going forward. We have move-in kits where you can get anything from, oh my God, everything: shower curtains, cleaners, dishes, cups, pots and pans, a bed, sheets, TV table, desk, computer. I mean, the VA has allotted a lot to allow the veterans to have the ability to actually utilize a home.
We do have income thresholds though, per county. So there's a max that they can make per month. If they go over that amount per month, it makes it a little harder for us to assist them because of that income threshold.
And that's based on the average median income.
Yes.
The AMI.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's still pretty high.
I mean, there's still a lot of wiggle room, and we do help a lot of people. So.
Now, I had a question and I lost it. It'll come back to me here in a second.
Happens all the time.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
What counties do you work in?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay, you 9 counties. We got Ashtabula, Medina, Lorain, Summit, Stark, Mahoning, Trumbull, Geauga, and I'm missing one. Portage, of course. That's where our home base is.
Oh, okay.
So basically all of Northeast Ohio minus Cuyahoga, Lake, and Tuscarawas.
Yeah.
We basically have the rest of it.
All right. So remember that, folks. Just not the Cleveland area.
Yeah. Cleveland,
all the rest of Northeast Ohio.
Cleveland's pretty big. The Cuyahoga County is rather big. So they have their own entity. We do refer some people to them.
And saying that, thank you. Saying that there is an SSVF in every county in the states.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I got an audience all over the place.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, no, I was just saying that I got audience all over the place. So
yeah. So anywhere in the Continental, and it's the VA mandates that you call the local SSVF, whoever they're being managed by, because it is VA funding, and it is a VA program, but it is managed by an umbrella company. So you have to contact your local SSVF in whatever county you're in, and then once you're accepted into the SSVF and under that county, it's a very simple process to transfer you into whatever county you want to go in.
Ah, that's good to know too.
Yeah. So if you're living in Cleveland and you want to come down here to Canton, you have to go through the Cleveland one and then put in a referral.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll have to keep reminding people about that. Now, obviously, you're dealing with a lot of addiction. So if a veteran comes to you and you can tell that their addiction is real bad and needs medical attention, you say you have a medical team that's set up to where they can screen veterans as well?
First of all, we don't care. As far as when getting into housing, we're going to deal with that after we get you into a house. We'll work with you in the meantime. Mm-hmm. We're not going to let you fall on your face. We'll do whatever we can to make sure you don't fall on your face. But we do have the ability to help them find treatment, to get them to treatment. But when it comes to housing, we'll work on that. But we want to get you off the streets. We want to make sure you have a house, and then we're going to work with those issues. And I, as a veteran, and going through some things, I had bad coping mechanisms when I got out too. So I understand the importance of actually having that sense of stability, and that you feel like you have somebody in your corner when you're trying to approach, dealing with the demons that the coping mechanism is making go away.
Right.
The only time their addiction becomes an issue in our organization is when they need to be put in one of our GPDs, which is a veteran shelter. It's a veteran specific, not civilian. A lot of times it would make it very hard for them to enter that shelter with an addiction issue, because some of these other people are recovering from addiction. They don't allow that situation to be.
There's absolutely no use in the
There's
in the
zero tolerance.
That's not zero tolerance. It's just
well,
we don't kick them out if they mess up.
No. They don't get kicked out. It's just if it's known that they're having a major issue, it would be very hard to get them in the GPD.
All right. And the GPD, that's the veteran shelter?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have 5, I believe, in the 9 counties. So and each one of them have easily double digit beds available, in and out. And that's where we would place them while we're looking for an apartment or a house for them to rent.
Now, I live in Summit County, so I know there's one in Akron, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Valor Home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, that's right across the street from the Services Commission.
That's right. It's from the VSC, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that when Lingo, you got Hope to come work there, that you knew you two were going to be a team.
No, I didn't.
No,
I didn't. This is my 3rd position I've been in since I've been here.
Yeah.
And so when I stole her, I was actually in a whole other position where the only communication we would have had is through email conversation.
Yeah.
And not even 6 months later,
mm-hmm.
I made a position change. ended up being working right next to each other.
I had no idea. It was going to happen.
Every now and then we look back and we're like, "Did you ever think?"
Nope.
No.
Yeah, didn't see that coming. So it was a happy coincidence.
So what's the best part of your job?
Oh
man, it's the veterans. I mean, to make a difference in a hero's life is
during
amazing.
Their worst possible
their
moments.
lowest point. And they're at their lowest point, and you're part of somehow helping them pick themselves up a little bit.
Yeah, giving them hope. No
pun intended.
No pun intended. But giving them hope, and then receiving text back from them or phone calls, and I'm here now, and I couldn't do it without you, and that kind of just makes me all.
Sometimes we run into them at functions and outreaches, and they're like, "Hey, I called, and you were the one that took me in." You were the first one I talked to, and it's amazing to see where they started and where they're going, and the difference that it made. So that's the best part, is just knowing you're making a literal difference in someone's life.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. It's all nice little fist bump there too.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're corny like that.
Oh, hey,
I'm sorry.
That's awesome. I was fist bumping people. I did a resource fair this morning, and
did you? Where at?
Up in Cleveland. My organization, Veterans Assurance Network, is a member of the Cleveland Veterans Collaborative. It's different organizations that came together because Cleveland itself, the city, doesn't have a veterans office at all. So we've been trying to get the city to have to create a veterans office and have it manned, continuously. And it seems like that's going to happen. But
a veterans office under your organization?
No, under the city.
Okay, so a county-based, like a VSC?
Well, kind of. The city of Cleveland actually has some veteran programs, but they don't have an office to run the programs. It's just on paper.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of
So
like
we're
the Veterans Matter or Veterans Outreach, kind of.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, they one of their programs is a veterans court. Now they do have somebody that works at veterans court, but all the other programs,
Huh.
they it's not manned. So when a veteran goes to the city saying, "Hey, I need some help," who can I go to? There's nobody there to tell them where to go.
Wow.
So we're getting that taken care of. There is one guy that looks like they're going to hire him full time, and he'll be able to do all that. And he's a veteran himself too. So
I love
and,
it.
but
And you were part of putting that together?
yes.
Huh. Way to go, Tim. Thank you, my friend.
You're welcome.
Way to go,
Yeah.
brother.
It's funny how I got involved with that. I advocated for the PACT Act alongside John Stewart, and I noticed that veterans were being turned away by your larger nationally known nonprofits because they only help like post 9/11 veterans or Vietnam veterans or so, but they weren't telling them where they could go to get the help that they needed. So I came home. My wife heard what happened. She's like, "Yeah, we need to fix that." So we started our organization, and when we did that, we also started doing like Christmas card drives and stuff like that to bring to the veterans that are in VA hospitals. And I contacted the Cleveland Cavaliers to see if they would join me with that, and they did.
Oh.
And becoming friends with some of them, one of them says, "Hey, why don't you come to this meeting? We have it at least once a week or once a month, but prior to Veterans Day, we do it once a week. And when you're there, we'll explain to you what's happening." And it turned out it was a bunch of nonprofits in Cleveland, not necessarily veterans based, but people that were concerned. And out of that came, hey, the city needs to finally staff this office. And if we're going to continue as this organization, then we need to make sure that the city does what it's supposed to do. And that's how I got involved with that. Is the Cavaliers invited me to that meeting.
How cool is that?
Yeah. And then out of that, now we do every September we do what I call Rally Against Suicide, where we're educating the community on suicide prevention. Instead of aiming all our information at the veteran themselves, we're aiming it at their family, their neighbors, their friends, co-workers, the whole community. Because who's going to get a veteran to go get help?
Another
Most
veteran.
likely their family and friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we aim all that education towards them instead of the veteran themselves.
okay.
So I got a law passed in Ohio. I think you saw the plaque when we were down there, September 22nd, and it's Veteran Suicide Awareness and Prevention Day. Little did I know, but when I started doing my research, Ohio has one of the worst rates in the country as far as veteran suicide goes. This is why I do the podcast, is so I can get information out too. And then when I met you folks, I was like, they got a great concept here. Not turning veterans away because they're addicted, but actually putting them in a house. This information needs to get out.
Yeah.
So,
and we're grateful that you wanted to get the information out for sure.
Oh, it's an honor to be able to do this. And I know you folks are going to, because of this, you folks are going to be able to help a lot more veterans than you've been. And I personally want to thank you for what you folks do.
Oh, it's my honor, Tim, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. We feel blessed to have a job like this. I mean, it's not really a job. I mean, you're helping these people. It's amazing.
And we're blessed to be able to do that and get paid for it.
Yeah.
There you go. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's folks like you that are helping make it easier for me to help prevent suicide amongst veterans.
I see.
Because, well, one thing is most veterans that are committing suicide are addicted or addicts.
Yeah.
Except for women veterans. That's a whole different story. We're covering that next week, actually. But as far as male veterans go, most of them that are committing suicide are addicts, and you're helping them, become
Absolutely.
sober, which is going to help prevent them from committing suicide.
And we do have a very I can't say it enough. Our group is amazing.
Yeah.
So we actually
Our
have
case
people,
managers work so hard,
and we're constantly getting more and more education about veterans and suicide risks and how to work with them. But honestly, a lot of our staff, they have experience from other jobs where they've been working with suicides and people in a mental state that's not healthy. And I've been part of Save 22 since for well over a decade now. So this is reaching home to me too. I mean, I've been down those holes, and I have brothers that aren't here anymore because they were too. So
same here. Matter of fact, one of my true brothers, not a military brother, but a true brother, took his own life 25 years ago. And he was a Vietnam and Gulf War veteran too. So
sorry to hear that.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I do what I do. But but it's people like you who keep me motivated. So
well, you know what? We motivate each other. I mean, what you do is highly important too. What you do is we're kind of a thread, it's a domino effect. It's, what we do, what you do, everybody plays a part in trying to help these veterans stay afloat.
And how big, I mean, you hit such a niche that I've always been complaining about, because how hard is it for veterans to know what's out there? People are always like, there's nobody that can help me.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, there's 5 organizations that focus on that just in this county.
Right.
But nobody knows
about them.
Right.
Yeah.
And an example of people not knowing. Have you two ever heard of the Compact Act?
No.
Nope.
All right. It's a law that went into effect January 17th, 2023, last year. If a veteran is suicidal, they can go to any ER in the country, and their treatment is paid for.
Any what in the country? I'm sorry.
ER?
Any any emergency room.
Okay.
All they have to say is, I'm a veteran. I feel like I'm going to commit suicide. Their treatment is paid for. Wow. 30 days inpatient, 90 days outpatient. It's a VA program. It's a law, and it's called the Compact Act.
Huh.
Not only did nobody know about it at the resource fair I did today, nobody knew about it at where we met, and I also did a resource fair Saturday at American Legion, and even the Legion folks didn't know about it.
Wow, man.
Well, that's a great example, Tim.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and money is a huge issue for a lot of the guys going through issues.
I don't know I don't know if you two ever seen the video where an officer pulls up on a pickup truck on the side of the highway. It's at night, and as he walks up to the pickup truck, he could hear somebody just bawling their eyes out in the cab of the pickup truck. So when he walked up there, there's a young man behind the wheel, and he's just bawling his eyes out like crazy. And the police officer says, "What's going on?" And all of a sudden, you just hear the man says, "I'm on the VA crisis line right now." The cop knew what he was doing. He put his gun away and says, "All right, let's get you in let's get you to the hospital, man. Let's get you off the side of this highway. Let's get you to the hospital. And the first words that veteran stated was, "I can't afford an ambulance."
Oh.
And it was that video that created that law.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because the officer, the police officer himself was a veteran, and he ended up paying for the ambulance ride.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. What a guy.
Are you trying to make us cry on camera?
What the heck,
Tim? That's a powerful story. I mean,
wow.
but it took having something like that captured and brought to the right people.
Yeah.
I used to play it at I give talks on suicide prevention and on benefits that people don't know about, and I usually start off those talks with that video. But so many people cried during that I had to stop that because I want them to be able to pay attention to what I'm saying after that.
So you knew just what you were doing to us. Jerk.
But, yeah, matter of fact, the last time I played that video was in Stark County 3 years ago on Veterans Day, actually. I was asked by Moms Against Violence and AFSP to come and give that talk. And afterwards, it's like, you need to take that video out because look, everyone's going to the restroom, everyone's walking outside to clear themselves, and
nobody was there
coming back
to you.
in. So it's like, can't use that video anymore.
Tim, you're making everybody cry, man.
But yeah, that video created that law, and I'm glad that law exists, but nobody knows about it.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a useful tool for us as well, because I have had an experience with one very serious
recently.
Suicide veteran. Between Lingo, me, and the case manager Valerie, who's amazing, we got it worked out. But he's alive. He's good because we jumped in, head and feet all in trying to get this guy some help. So.
I think I know that caseworker. We'll talk after we go off the air.
Okay. You probably do.
I probably do.
He is kind of one of our gurus here.
Yeah, everybody goes to her for a lot. So
now let me start thinking again because I lost the next question.
That's okay.
Got to talking about that video and got myself all clip.
Good. You deserved it.
Yeah.
Everybody's busting out the Kleenex, Tim. Jeez.
Now, Lingo, I know you stated that you're a veteran. Now, Hope, are you a veteran?
No, I'm a family of veterans. Like I said, my father served in Vietnam. My brother served 8 years as an airborne combat medic. And my uncle served in the Air Force. So we have my grandfather was in the Army during World War II. So I have a family of veterans. So
all right. Now, Lingo, what branch?
Navy. You?
Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah.
He's a smart one. Yeah. I always told my son, he just got out of the Navy. Well, he just went into reserves after his 4 years. And when he said he was signing up, I'm like, you're signing Air Force, right? And he says, no, I'm going Navy. I'm like, man, I thought I taught you better. You guys have, and we all make fun of you. Not like the Coast Guard. Oh, yeah. But we all make,
my son's starting to make fun of me now for being in the Air Force.
Well, it's because we're all jealous. You actually learned something in boot camp. You had the best chow halls. Your dorms were amazing. I mean, they were hotels.
Wow.
You actually learned something that goes out into that transitions into the civilian world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
most of us, yes.
We're hurt.
He's just been hurt.
We all are.
Now I'm gonna make y'all laugh some more here. I three out of 4 brothers all joined the Air Force. All my brothers are a lot older than I am.
Okay.
So, in the town I grew up in Huron, Ohio, not much opportunity there unless you want to work at Cedar Point. Cedar Point's right there. So, I didn't want to, go work at Cedar Point all the time. So, and I couldn't afford college. So I was going to join the Marines.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I had a Marine recruiter sitting in our living room at home. My dad comes home from work, looks at the Marine recruiter, says, "I'll be right back." He goes out into the garage, and I'm like, "What the heck is my dad doing?" Because no, gotta let you know, I was 16 at the time.
Ooh.
Okay, getting ready to turn 17. My dad comes back. He has a baseball bat with him.
To the Marine recruiter.
Yeah, he says, "Get the hell out of my house
Oh
now."
my
Was your dad
God.
military?
No, my dad
But your older
my,
brothers were.
yeah, my dad couldn't join. He had a disease when he was younger and couldn't donate blood and stuff. And so he would have been in World War II. So, but he kicked the Marine recruiter out of the house
With a
And
baseball bat.
with a baseball bat. Had
Jeez,
the Air Force recruiter at the house the very next day. Said, "There, you're signing this."
You really didn't have an option.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
I says, "Dad, why are you making me join the Air Force?" He says, "Your two older brothers were in Vietnam and they were in the Air Force, and look, they came home okay." So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because he he lost cousins and friends and everything due to war and
Yeah.
nephews and nieces. So he's like,
He
"Yep,
wasn't-
you're
he
joining.
wasn't gonna let that happen with
You
you.
all are staying in the Air Force. That's it." So,
Okay.
but yep, that was it.
And your son, did he serve? Is that why he can make fun of you?
My son is 14.
Oh.
But he's making fun of you for being in the Air Force. He hasn't even served.
Nope, hasn't served yet.
He hasn't earned that right yet.
No, that's what my wife told him about Veterans Day. He's sitting here singing this song about the chair force and everything, and I'm like, and
Oh
my
my
wife goes, "You know,
gosh.
it's Veterans Day today, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." Says, what are you doing?" And he says, "This is my way of thanking him." So he's making fun of me for being in the Air Force.
Oh my.
I didn't realize that you only had the one son.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tell him we're gonna have to talk.
Oh, when he found out you were going to be on the show today, it's like, "Oh my God, I better behave."
Well, now I'm calling him out too.
Oh, God,
Now,
That's
oh
great.
no, not that guy.
but Lingo's right. Air Force has the best chow halls.
Yeah, oh for
We
sure.
knew
That's what I heard. I heard that a lot.
we knew it was Friday at the last base I was stationed at, which was George Air Force Base out in California. 29 Palms is only like 10 miles away, maybe a little bit further. But they would bust the Marines in on Fridays just to come eat at our chow hall for dinner because we had steak and lobster.
I've been to Air Force bases where they had prime rib.
Yeah,
like cutting, like a guy
Yeah.
cutting the prime
Every-
rib. Omelet stations.
What
Oh
the-
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And here we are eating prison food. Almost asking for an MRE.
Well, actually, the for some reason the base commander liked me, and so I asked him one day. I says, "Why do we get to eat so good, and why are they bringing in the Marines all the time to eat on Fridays?" He says, "Look, where else do you find a company putting an 18-year-old kid in charge of a multi-billion-dollar aircraft?"
Wow. That's
And I was like,
point.
"Nowhere. It's just the Air Force." He's like, "Exactly." He's
Wow.
like, "It's just the Air Force. That 18-year-old kid comes out of basic training, goes to school for a few months. He's put in charge of $1 billion aircraft and the life of the pilots."
Wow. Well,
So we got to take care of you guys.
Wow.
Well, they did a good job.
Yeah. Good food, man. Good food.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
But yeah, every Friday you knew it was Friday because you'd start seeing those buses coming in, and they would march them into the chow hall.
We were happy Marines that day.
And they see us just walking in, Hey, Joe, how's your day going? And we're talking to a captain or a major, and we're calling them by their first name, and they're like, oh my God, these guys got it good. Oh, the best part, though.
So never, ever wonder why we make fun of you. We are so fucking jealous.
We had a Sunday bar.
Oh, I remember one of those. I'd never had one.
We at Georgia Air Force Base, we had a Sunday bar on for dinner every night.
Wow.
Yeah. So you had a Ponderosa, basically.
Basically, yes.
That's a good comparison.
Oh, my God.
Right there.
Oh,
Ponderosa.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for rubbing all that in.
Look
Tim.
how frustrated he is. You're talking food to this guy. Yeah. Now he's really frustrated.
I
haven't even eaten dinner yet. So. Now, you say you're in how many counties again?
9.
9. Now, you have a fundraiser coming up soon.
Yes.
Let me put this up on the screen.
Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And
there it is. Yep.
Okay. Even with my glasses on, it is on Millennium Boulevard in Cortland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Trumbull County.
Yep, right off the highway up there. Just past Warren.
So it's easy to get to.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to a good cause, folks. So if you live out that way, stop in there, get yourself some grub. Unfortunately, it's not Air Force grub.
No.
Actually, this would probably be a little bit better.
He's found his power play.
Yeah, you are so rubbing his nose in it, Tim. Man.
So this money, thank you for bringing that up. This money goes to, this is helping us supplement what the VA doesn't cover. So the VA, like I said earlier, they have the ability to cover all kinds of stuff and provide all kinds of things. But what we can't provide is food. Once they get into their rental, or gas for getting to and from a job interview or a job. We can't give them clothing. So this is all to supplement so we can get gift cards and handle those vets that really do need the assistance that we can't provide. And especially right at the end of the year, a lot of the other organizations that we would normally send them to are already out of funding. Right. So this is our attempt to try to get a little bit more support for our veterans that we assist.
Yeah, because the big donations don't start until like February or March. So folks, come on, go get some food. Help these folks. Help veterans.
We're even going to have some baskets we're going to raffle off, different sorts. So, it's going to be a big deal, and we're hoping to raise as much as we can, not for us, not for our organization, but for our veterans that need it.
Yes. And it's this coming Saturday from 12 to 4. Oh, man, that's perfect timing. Come on, folks. It's lunchtime.
Yep. You can even watch college football while you're there. We're at Quakersig, so
you're redeeming yourself after all the food comments, Tim. Thank you.
You're back in good graces, Tim.
We're good.
All right. And for all, like Hope said, football.
It's a big deal.
Ohio State, Indiana game starts at noon, so you got plenty of time to get there. Get yourself some wings. Maybe a beer or two, and you can watch the game at the same time while you're helping veterans.
Yes.
Come on, that's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, there's no negative there. I mean, even if you got to drive a little bit, it's worth the gas trying to help you fellas. So.
And Hope will be there. So
he's gonna be there too. Oh my God! You want to see the guy that Tim described with the guns?
Yes.
Get out there and see the guns. And just so everybody knows, your audience knows, he's a gun-wearing kilt man. He wears his kilts because of his background. So you can't miss this guy. He's ginormous and he wears a kilt. I call his nickname is Hulk in a kilt.
There you go.
I mean, without being green.
Yes.
That's only when I'm hungry.
Yeah, but that's a lot. He's always hungry, so.
Now, as my son and I were leaving, he was like, "Thank God it wasn't windy in that building today."
Yeah, thank God for everybody. Tell you the truth. Nobody wants to see that.
Now, I've got a question for you too. Now, do you normally do the resource fairs for your organization, or do other people? Well, obviously, with probably depends on the county that you're in, right?
No, so our team of three, our titles are outreach coordinators and coordinated
Coordinated
entry.
entry, yeah.
So we do have two titles,
Yeah.
and we take turns going out into the communities
Mhm.
to spread the word to local
Mhm.
community partners. But we do a lot of the we do a lot of the resource fairs.
Yeah.
But we also have other people in the area that like to come out and
Mhm.
other employees for
Yes.
SSVF
Yes.
that will accompany us when they have time.
Yeah.
Right.
They usually have a hefty workload, so they come out when they can to take part and be a part of it. But most of the time, it is the three of us, maybe one or two of the other people that work at the home office.
All right. Like I mentioned earlier, we do our rally against suicide every September. Now I know we definitely have somebody going to organize one for Summit County this year because we're trying to make it all over the state.
Okay.
And chances are it's going to be on September 22nd to coordinate with the new law. Which it's a month. It'll be a Monday evening, so we're still my board and we're still working out of be the 21st or 22nd, but we would definitely like your organization to be at least one of our rallies. We do have somebody in Canton, but we don't know if he'll be able to coordinate stuff and get the rally organized down there.
Tim, if you ever have an outreach event that you think it would be good for us to be at, all you got to do, you have both of our cards, correct, with their
Yes.
contact info.
Yep.
Send a text, send an email,
Yep.
and if given enough time, and we're not talking too much, but like a week, hopefully, if you given enough time, we can schedule to make sure that at least one or two of us are there.
Yep.
All right.
We'll get
Sounds
it
good.
covered, okayed through our supervisor and make sure we're good to go. And
The lovely Debbie.
yes, Miss Debbie. Yes. And she'll probably be more than happy to release it, let us go and do, do whatever we can. That's our job, outreach and to be there. So,
and I have to admit, I'd never seen so much bling and free stuff on anybody's table before.
We did good.
You guys got it going on.
We had a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I went shopping. I went into our human resources and I was like, and that's mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He called dibs on everything. So
there you go.
yeah.
All right. Now I always end my episodes with this. All right, folks. If you're not necessarily feeling like you're going to kill yourself, but you need to talk to somebody, 988 press 1. You're now guaranteed to talk to a licensed therapist. No more callbacks, no more operators, no more admins trying to transfer you over to somebody else. You'll get a licensed therapist on the line. 988 press 1. Very important. So if you feel like you're in crisis and you really do need to talk to somebody, 988 press 1. If you rather talk to somebody in person, but you know you're not going to hurt yourself or anybody else, there are vet centers throughout the state that you can go to. Matter of fact, there's one right around the corner from my house. When they were building it, my wife and I were like, what the heck is a vet center? So we had to Google it and then found out they offer free therapy for veterans and their families. So there you go, folks. And Hope Lingo, I want to thank you for coming on. You made my evening.
Tim, Thank you.
It was
And
a
to all
pleasure.
those veterans out there that are watching, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Tim, thank you for what you do and your service. And all those people that are watching, helping the veterans. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
service, because we can't do it without
Yes, yes, that is true. And if you two can stay on the line for a couple minutes after we go off the air.
you. Nope, gotta go.
All right, fantastic. All right, folks.
You got me hungry now.
All right, folks. Next week we are having retired Colonel Lisa Carrington Furman on the line. She wrote a book about sexual assault that happens in the military, and it's on the New York bestsellers list. So it's going to be a very important conversation next week, and hope you can join in on that, and see everybody next week.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.